Hey gang, welcome back to Chili Daddy's Garage. Today's video is going to be a review of this Evolution Power Tools chop saw. Now, this is a sponsored video, I'll tell you that right up front, but I was contacted by these people on Instagram and they asked if I would like to try out their chop saw. Now, I'm all about new tools, and I've had a chop saw that I've had for 25 years. It has the abrasive disc on it, and it works, but you're always needing an upgrade, right? So I said, sure, I'll take a look at this, and this is the EvoSaw 380. Now, what's interesting is, as I was looking at their product on Instagram, I noticed that they also had a table for this saw. So I said, hey, I see you offer a table, what do you think? Well, I also have the table. So, I'm going to unbox both of these items, and hopefully this saw is as good as it looks, at least from what I've seen in the videos. Now, if you follow along in any of my stuff that I've done over the years, you know you've probably seen me on the floor using my chop saw or using other tools, and that's something I've always done. I just kind of grew up doing that. But I'm getting older, you know, so I don't want to have to be on the floor, and that's why I want to use this with the stand, and hopefully it'll get me elevated and make projects much better. So let's open up the box and see what's inside. Okay, I want to open up the stand first and get it set up. So right on top, set of instructions, shows you the stand, gives you an idea what I'm going to be working with. Gives you some, let's see here, some dimensions of what you can cut and different things with the saw, how to assemble this thing. Looks like several steps, and there's adjustable clamps, extension arms, all kinds of good stuff. So let's get it out of the box. And here's a registration form as well for a warranty, I'm sure. More on that parts box. Oh boy, that is a heavy-duty stand. Wow. Okay, before I even get too far along, let me just oh, looky there. Okay, so on the side here it's got a push button so you can release the leg. Nice solid click. Another one over here. Very nice. Oh, and you can, I just noticed, you can either do it with your finger push button or a push handle, however you want to label it. So you can grasp that and rotate it. That's cool. Alright. On the bottom here, it looks like it's got some square tubing. There's a welded nut right here. There's also another one right there. I don't know. Oh, yes. So it looks like as well, if I remove the sleeves from the legs, it's got a push button, and you can extend that to whatever length you might like as well. So I'm going to put that on the, I'll put it on the first hole on that leg as well. See what, nice, very nice. Remove that. Cool. Cool. Very solid feeling table. Go over more of the attachments and stuff as I open up the box. See what's in here. Everything out of that box. cut that loose. So we've got some square tubing here. It's got some, let's see, max extension, so it has some information there. Plastic sleeve inside of the end cap here. There's also a square plug on the end, so that's nice. Not sure where these go just yet, but we'll figure this out. We'll point out these also have, there's some nut certs inside of there. There's a slot here on either side, goes all the way through. So I'm sure there's a reason for that on this one at least. This one doesn't have those. Got a 90-degree bracket of some sort there. Bag of hardware, bunch of threaded knobs. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, 5 of those, 6 of those, a couple of like T-handle looking things, grab handle, and a couple more insert pieces. And these look like clamping devices. So I'll have to get all this put together, see where everything goes. There's two of the clamp looking things with the rubber feet on, and then these also have rubber feet. So obviously those interact in some other way. What I'll do is I'll just assemble everything. I'll go through look over the instructions, put it all together, and then show you the end result. So I have everything assembled, and let me tell you, this is a pretty cool stand. It does have this handle on it, like if you wanted to collapse the legs and carry it, you could carry it with this handle. These clamps, there's 4 clamps. These are just open face. These have actually drop clamps on top. And I'll point out that you'll need a 5mm Allen wrench. What these are designed to do is there's a bolt that will tighten when you tighten the clamp, but there's also a secondary nut on the other side. So when I was trying to loosen these, I didn't realize I could take tension off of the bolt itself to raise and lower these. What these are designed for is to hold the saw in place and keep it secure to the table, which is a great idea. You have the adjusting knobs on the side here. Simply turn those to clamp it down. And then these extensions, great idea. You can extend these out. There is a limit line on here that tells you max length that you can pull it out to. It has a knob on the side where you can adjust the height if you wanted to change that. There's also a knob underneath to lock this in so it doesn't get lost or doesn't come out too far or whatever. This one, this is pretty cool. Let me slide this over just a little bit here so you can see this. Again, this has this slide in and out, and I was like, what is this for? Well, this could be used as a stop. Just because it's assembled this way doesn't mean it needs to stay this way. You can take this out, turn it over, and the way I see it, if you're clamped down with your saw and you want to cut a variety of metal or multiple pieces the same length, you can set this up as a stop. It has these clamps underneath, tighten those up. You have to tighten up the clamp underneath here, and now you've got a place to stop this. Also, you take this out, turn it around, now you've increased that length as well. So really, really well thought out stand. Next up is the saw. Let me get the saw out and we'll get it on here and have a look at it. All right, so let's open up this box and see the machine. Right on top, as it should be, there is a set of instructions, probably the registration form, and it looks like a knob of some sort, handle. So set that aside. Inside the styrofoam up here on top, there are, oh, a new set of brushes. Spare set of brushes. That's cool. All right. And some sort of bracket. I don't know what that does just yet, but we'll find out. I think I'll have to set this on the floor and then lift it up onto this stand. All right. Woo, look at that. Inside the box, big old cutting blade. Nice. Let me tell you, that's a substantial saw. I'm not sure what this weighs. Probably 25 pounds, 30 pounds. Probably maybe 30 pounds. But this is a lot heavier than the old saw that I had. I will say it's got some oil in this bag. You know, when they package it up with oil to try to keep things from, I guess, rusting, but let me get the bag off. Power cord wrapped up in plastic. Have to cut that loose. So it has a locking pin on the side. If you want to store it, you put it down, and the pin actually locks in by itself. So you've got a pin right here, push down. Oh, and you can lock that out. So if you wanted to keep it unlocked, you can, but if you want to store it, you turn this and it holds the arm down, so that's good. It's got a trigger. The whole handle is a built-in trigger. My old saw, it had a vertical type of squeeze trigger, so this, you've got more control over it. You've got a knob here in the back for tightening your stock in a position. Pull this piece of styrofoam out of the way. Nice heavy table. Yep. There's an Allen wrench on the base, so there's a place to store it. That's good. There is an adjustment stop right here, so you can adjust the height up and down where you want it to stop cutting. If you were to try to make, let's say you were trying to cut something that was, you only want to cut part way through it, right? You could adjust this bolt up and down, and there's a little stop right here, so you could stop the saw and maybe do multiple chops if you wanted to. But yeah, this is heavy duty, and it's a little oily, just so you know. I'm going to get it on the stand, and we'll have another look at it. Now, one thing I do notice, you know, you can obviously move this back and forth somewhat, but this Allen wrench was facing that direction, so I rotated it around so that it didn't interfere with the clamp. This clamp is meant to go down on top, and with the Allen wrench there, it would be clamping on the Allen wrench. So you tighten up these side clamps, and that's going to lock it into place on the table. And then you can take these and lock those in with the Allen wrench. And again, these also have a nut on the side here. So I'm going to tighten this up with the Allen wrench first. and then I can follow up and tighten down the secondary nut if I want to. Probably should. Those are 10 millimeter. Good length of cord too. I'd say this cord is about 6 feet long. A couple cool things. One, that little handle actually goes onto your wheel for your clamp. So it gives you a little bit of a speed handle, kind of feeling to it. So I want to make sure that's tight. Now, in this case, the handle itself locks in. It doesn't like swivel like an old speed handle, you know, where the knob would turn freely. So that locks in. I want to show you how to install a blade on this. So I'm going to take the Allen wrench, break this loose, and that rotates that out of the way. I'm going to take this bolt loose. And you can see this has an interior plate, let's say. I don't know if this, yeah, there's two pieces to this. So basically you have an arbor that slides onto the shaft, and that is what gives you your torque, right? Because it's got that special shape to it. Then the blade, and I have taken the blade out of the package just to show you. If I take this, basically that centers it. There's a collar there that holds that. So put that back in there. Now I'm going to need to raise the handle here to expose the blade, or expose the location. Now the thing is, I'll have to pull this up out of the way so I can get the blade in, and it points out, you've got an arrow up here that says, sorry, probably can't see it right now. Let me raise that up a little bit. Okay. So you've got an arrow that shows you your rotation, right? Just like on the saw, the blade itself, you've got an arrow that shows you your rotation. So I will lift this guard up, get the blade up inside, get it on the arbor, let's say. Install that piece. Get that lined up. Try not to block the camera with my head. Put the bolt back in. And I will tell you, and I will show you as well, there is a plunger up here on the top. It shows it in the manual. Probably easier if I just show you in the manual itself. Right here. So when you're putting the blade on, right behind this plastic guard and next to the handle, there's a little plunger. What that does is it locks the motor from turning. Of course, I don't have any power on this either, right? But if I push that plunger in, now it locks the motor in place. So now you can put torque on this, make sure the blade is tight. Release the plunger, and this will actually turn now. Okay? Now that the blade is tight, I'm going to rotate the guard back around, put it back in place, tighten that back down. I really like that they're trying to protect you as much as possible. My old saw, you could lift the outer guard upward and expose the whole blade and everything. This one, you'd have to really get your hand in there to try to, get caught. So, well designed. I'm going to put this back down. That's locked back in place. I want to show you something else I think is pretty cool. Now, one thing to consider with this type of saw and a blade, it's not an abrasive blade, it is a metal cutting blade, is all the chips. I've never seen this on a saw before. And maybe they do have them on other saws. I don't know. But this little tray is designed to catch those chips. I like it. So let's take a look at this clamp real quick. Obviously, you turn the handle and it clamps against the back brace. But if you want a quick release, like you want to put in a big piece of stock, you can flip this up and now it pulls out. Push it forward, push that back down, and you can clamp. Something else. When I saw this in the packaging, I thought, I don't know what that's for. Now I know. This slips over this clamp. Now what's the advantage to that? Round stock. You can put a round piece in there, you can put angle iron in there. That gives you a brace to catch material. You can turn it upside down and it helps hold stuff inside of that because you got a flat surface there. So that's another great idea. I've already talked about this where you can change the angle, loosen this up, pivot it. It goes to 45 degrees or 0. It's got a good detent that stops it there, or at least it feels like it does. Might be able to adjust it around a little more. It also has 3 locations up here. So if you wanted to, you could move this piece. Now, I'd have to look into how you would take this completely loose. There looks like there's, oh, it's got a screw head in there. Okay, so let me show you that. So if you wanted to increase or decrease the size of this opening, you can take this off. Take this loose. And this lets you move this kind of fore and aft. You've got a second hole over here on the side, so you can take this bolt out of the center, the pivot point. You can move it back or forth, and then this will go into these different holes as well. Just kind of a way you can change your dimensions a little bit. More than likely, I'm going to leave this right where it started. You can adjust that too if you want to have preset your handle to where it'll lock in. You can also, because this has a spring on it, you can raise this handle against the spring. So if you didn't have enough adjustment to tighten that down, you can lift this up and rotate it. And it gives you more grip. So you can preset to different locations. Okay, I like it. Okay, so I want to test this thing out. I have not tried it yet. I am going to put on some hearing protection and some safety glasses, obviously, and also some gloves. Now, what I want to cut, just to see how this little brace inside we talked about. I've got some huge pipe here, and this was, I'm sure I cut this previously with my other saw, but I'm going to slip this in, and again I'm just making a cut, nothing important. Now the choices here is I can kind of wiggle this and get it square using this piece, or I can take this out, put it in, let the squareness of the pipe kind of hold itself. So I'm going to put a little pressure on that. Now I should also point out, I didn't realize earlier there is a safety switch on the handle. So you have to push that in with your thumb, and then you can squeeze the trigger. So push the button in, squeeze the trigger. That's actually a very square cut. Very square. Very little Very little burr on that at all. Now, of course, the piece I cut off was just a thin, little piece. So it kind of got collapsed in the process. Now, of course, you are going to end up with a bunch of little metal chips all over the place. So I'm going to cut something a little more substantial. This is 1/4 inch wall, 2-inch square tubing. And again, I'm just going to make a simple cut on this. Not getting in a hurry. Let the saw do the work. Pretty nice cut. Now, I did hesitate there a couple times. Nice and square. Here's the piece I cut off. You can see how thin that is. So, really nice. Really nice. Now, of course, we'll take a look at the little chip drawer. See how much actually accumulates in there. And you can see there's a good bit. So that's helpful. All right. Satisfies my needs. Get a chip brush. Very handy. Just to give you a little more information, this is the package that the cutting blade came in, and basically they have a variety of sizes apparently. You can cut steel, thin steel, aluminum, stainless steel, and also has provisions for wood. Now, this one being the 1-inch arbor, looks like any one of these on this side will fit. This one has smaller bores, 5/8 up to, well, down here it says 1 inch as well. So in this case, I am using the 14-inch, 1-inch bore for cutting mild steel. Looks like 66 CS, I think is the part number on this one. And basically, it's telling me it has 66 teeth, which you can see right here, 66 and 14-inch. So obviously they offer a variety of different blades as well. Alright, I think that'll be the end of this video. Now, I do plan to do some builds pretty soon with this saw. I'm modifying a metal rack that I have. I need to cut up some square tubing so that I can make the pieces that I need, and I'm going to use this saw to do that. I will point out this is the 380 model, and according to the paperwork, it can handle up to a 15-inch blade. This one, they sent me a 14-inch blade, which is fine. It does what it needs. But just letting you know that it can handle a 15-inch blade. And other than that, I'm pretty impressed by it. Very heavy duty. Stand is very heavy duty. And I look forward to using this in the future. At this point, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. By all means, leave a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.